Hey y'all, this is Ada Grace, and welcome to the Black Girl Talks About podcast, where I talk about pop culture and all the hits and misses in between. So this week, I want to talk about Weki Meki, and this is actually the second part of my November haul. I'm probably going to do another episode about some solo artists that I've been listening to for December, or I'll just talk about Kim Taeyeon because she's coming out with the December comeback. I'm thinking, maybe I'll just do all three. I feel like I have the most to say about Taeyeon because she has so much more music. So, I'm just wondering, would it be a disservice to, because I'm thinking about talking about, Jessica and Tiffany specifically, but maybe a TTJ episode would be cute. I'll pray on it and get back to you. But yes, this is the second part of my November music haul. I'm going to talk about Weki Meki and how I've just been enjoying their music, and now I think I'm ready to possibly get into stan mode. It's hard to be a K-pop stan. I plan on talking about my own Being Black in K-pop episode soon, but until then, it is hard to become a stan. So maybe I'll just be a deeply invested fan. But I am enjoying their music so far. I like the girls so far, so we shall see. But before I get to that, I wanted to talk about some enemies of progress. I want to talk about a group of people specifically that have just been grinding my gears in 2020. They just made themselves known. I mean, they always make themselves known, especially when Black struggle is happening or Black struggle is being more discussed because it's a never-ending thing. But they always make themselves known, when there's opportunities to have people care about Black people, they are the first in line. And what do they want? Not freedom for everyone, not equality, not to level the playing field, not to expand representation, not, to discuss reparations. Absolutely not. They want things, and they want whatever the white people have for themselves, and once they get what they want, they will leave all the other Black and brown people that have supported them in the dust for their white acceptance and the white audience that they truly desire anyway. So the first POC Profiteers, they use identity politics to scam Black and brown people into giving them things and propping them up so that they can walk into the promised land of white acceptance that they have always yearned for. That's who they are. So the first POC Profiteer I want to talk about is this True Kitchen situation. I think that when I was watching Justin's video on the topic, and I'll put that Justin, aka King of Reads video. I really appreciate what he had to say about it. And he shared the video and their apology. When I saw that winky face at the end of the apology from the restaurant, I realized this man knows he's garbage and doesn't care that he stinks. So I have very little to say to him. I want to talk to all the people in the comments and all the people on Twitter that had something to say about these Black women. Every time Black people do something useless, I think of the Black woman they hurt. I think of the Black woman that they usually target their hatred towards. So I wanted to see the video, not of this man in his little soapbox talking about respectability or whatever. I wanted to see these Black women dancing. I wanted to see the twerking that was so wrong and terrible. And the word I kept hearing, the word that seemed to be on everyone's tongues, if they did not outright say it, was disgusting. They found the woman's twerking to be disgusting. So I found this 10-second video, and everything that I mentioned is going to be in the description box, so I don't have to keep saying, I've linked it down below. So I found a 10-second video of this woman twerking, and I thought it was funny. That was my reaction. Not disgust, not throwing up, disgusting. But I found it very interesting that even in Justin's comments alone, a lot of people said, I do not want to see that when I am eating. There were a lot of green throw up emojis or some kind of emoji that's kind of like, this is gross. And I realized, oh, like you find, I think there were like other women doing this. There seemed to be talk. There was like 3 different tables. I found it very interesting that you guys were disgusted by this dark-skinned, curvy woman twerking. So I wonder, would you guys have the same reaction if this girl looked like Janae Aiko or Tinashe and she was twerking? Would you guys say not while I'm eating? Would you guys have the same reaction if this was a white woman? Even a bigger white woman doing this, would you find it disgusting? I'm talking to you black people. Like, white people have their own fat phobia, but I feel like black people are a little bit more, they're able to accept white women with bigger bodies as curvy, as thick, add them to the thick spectrum and elevate them in a way that white communities do not. So even any white woman of any size twerking, would you describe it as disgusting? Would you be disgusted? And I think the answer is no. And that's very sad. That tells a lot more about you guys than about what these women are doing. Because this restaurant, if True Kitchen should be a place for black girls and gays to come and have brunch and enjoy themselves, it is not. This place is actually just a place where this black man wants to claim it's fine dining, have black women come in, and hopefully be able to attract a big enough crowd to renovate the restaurant, update the menu, and make it approachable for white women to come to the restaurant. This restaurant is for the people for now. When it's in its current condition and white people aren't coming, it's for the people. But when white people get interested, it will no longer be for the people. And the dress code and the little speech about making sure it's respectable, he wants all the black people to be on their best behavior for the white woman that he hopes to eventually partake in the spoils that black women have been able to provide for him. And I just think it's funny that he described it as a fine dining experience because apparently he featured Cisco singing Thong Song. He spells cocktails with a K. He plays Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B. He allowed men to dance on the bar without getting on a soapbox. And all of this is supposed to be fine dining. Like, make that make sense to me. I think at the end of the day, people don't like black joy, and they don't like black joy on black women with bigger bodies. I think if this was a skinnier, lighter, biracial woman doing the twerking, I think if it was a white woman doing the twerking, this black man, and a lot of you guys in the comments would not only laugh, you would get your phone, you would record, and you would be hyping her up. But now you're telling this black woman to stop, that she should know better, she should do better, she should do whatever. You are telling her all the things that she's heard throughout her week, throughout her day, maybe even in her home about what she should do, what she should wear, how she should talk, how she should be. And at brunch, when she's with her girlfriends, she should be able to be free. That is what True Kitchen should provide. If you have vision beyond seeing what white people get and what white people do and trying to do what white people do and get what white people get, you would want to create a place where black girls and gays can come and have brunch. And we do not have brunch and hang out like white girls do. We catch up and we're talking and we're listening to music and we're dancing and we're laughing and we're loud and we're boisterous. And most importantly, we are free. We are free and we are relaxed to be ourselves. And so if he had that vision in mind, he should have created a dance floor, a place where women can dance and get down and have a good time with their friends, a place where black queer people can come and dance and live and breathe for a few moments with their friends. He should be able to make a place of community. Instead of telling the community that is coming to support you, you are providing a service to them, and now you are monitoring their behavior the same way that white people do. Shame on you, and shame on all of you people that claim to love blackness but still want to dictate what it looks like to other people. Absolutely not. I do not appreciate that, and for that, he's an enemy of progress. So the next enemy of progress I wanted to discuss, the next POC profiteer I wanted to discuss is Tasia Adams. So first I listened to the episode of Two Black Girls, One Rose, where they talked about this particular scene of The Bachelorette, where Ivan and Tasia have a discussion about the racial unrest that's been going on in this country. The girls loved it. I was skeptical, and I saw the comments that talked about Tasia could possibly do more. She promised to talk about it more in her IG story, and another person kind of echoed, well, they talked about Rachel feeling that Tasia could also do more. I believe these are two different comments, but I could be wrong. When I hear of things, I have a lot of theories. I come in with information, but I decided, hey, I haven't seen that part of the episode myself. Let me go on YouTube, see this part of the episode, and see, if my hypothesis is correct. It's definitely correct. The moment I heard of this conversation, I thought Rachel Lindsay is alone. Because whenever I see Black people being useless, wasting space and time and energy and oxygen, I think of the Black woman who labored for them. I think of the Black woman who spoke out for them. I think of the Black woman that laid their careers on the line for them. I thought of Rachel Lindsay. Both of these people are on this couch. Ivan and Tasia are on this couch because of Black women. Because a Black woman named Rachel Lindsay has been talking to ABC for years and having discussions on every network she could possibly think of about representation and about respecting Black people and about Black struggle. They are both there because of her. Tasia herself has been protected by Rachel. She has been supported by Rachel herself. And they're here because of the Black women who have been doing Rachel Lindsay's work online by adding ABC and saying, hey, Tasia would make a great lead, or following Tasia on Instagram, or any of these Black contestants and saying, hey, they should be a lead. They should be on this. They should be on that. Where are the Black leads? We need to see more representation. Both of these people are here because of Black women, and they fail to speak about them. They fail to speak for them. And it's a shame. But here's why Rachel Lindsay is alone. The Bachelor made a mistake hiring Rachel. A Black woman managed to make it to leadership and got Rachel in there before they could do some extra vetting because she's respectable, but she's not desperate. The Bachelor needed Rachel more than Rachel needed the Bachelorette. And I think that's why they get more influencer adjacent or people that truly want to be influencers even though they have a real job to go on these shows, because they need desperate people. They need people that will say just enough to be part of the community and get the sponsorship and get the other reality show opportunity. They need people that need them or think they need them. But Rachel has never needed The Bachelor, and she will never need The Bachelor. And even though she is in entertainment today, she does not associate with the Bachelor. Because she doesn't have to. She managed to get all these jobs and all these opportunities. She interviewed Oprah. What does she need The Bachelor for? No, really. But Rachel is by no means radical. She's still a respectability queen, but she is interested in legacy. She is proactive, she is progressive. She wants to create opportunities for other Black and brown people in The Bachelor. So let's talk about the rest of them that exist in Bachelor Nation, because there have been Black people around before, but Rachel Lindsay is always in your headlines. She's always on your timeline if you are in Bachelor Nation, because she's the only one actually doing anything. She is alone. And sometimes there's Mike. So when Hannah Brown decided to fully announce that she does not like Black people by saying the N-word while rapping a song, because if you go on these Lily White Instagram pages, they're telling you they are not around Black people because they do not want to be. But now she decided that, in case you didn't know, she hates us. And Rachel made the rounds, and Rachel spoke to Hannah herself, who just, didn't know and just wants to say something but couldn't because she doesn't really care. And there was Mike, who was looking for the white woman of his dreams. You only take the time to have a conversation with the Black woman in your family about overcoming racism and loving everybody if you want to love everybody else but Black women. So he is looking for the white girl of his dreams. So he's only going to say so much because he wants to be in community with white people, whether they like him or not. As long as, they're in his DMs, they have their little black square, they've done a hashtag once, and they might say that they like his book, he is here for it. And then there's the rest of the black friends. And I'm telling you, if you are in a black friend ministry, it does not yield the blessings of Abraham that you think it does, and you know it. But you can't let go because you just can't help yourself, I guess. So they've all said very little. Otherwise, I would have heard of them by now. If I haven't heard of you, it's probably because I have not heard from you. So there's that. And then there's this light-skinned biracial brigade. And I'm saying those adjectives specifically because that is what they are. They are only interested in talking about themselves amongst themselves. So I saw there was and I heard this from two black girls, one Rose podcast. I think Justine watched it. Someone named Taylor got the girls together to talk about their experience. And she decided to put in the caption of one part about the exclusion they experienced from capital both sides. So, black people reacting to colorism and the history of light-skinned, biracial people benefiting from their privilege and getting more things than black people and thinking they're better than black people and oppressing other black people is the same as white people holding on to their racism, benefiting from their racism, and being racist. That's supposed to be the same. Victims, people who are victimized, reacting to their oppression is the same thing as oppressors oppressing. That's the same thing. That you only can be dumb enough to think that's the same thing, or you only can be willfully ignorant enough to think that's the same thing if you are more interested than pleading to the oppressors and protecting the victims that have supported you. Because it's not third grade anymore. Your experiences are valid. I'm sure those words were hurtful. I'm sure it was very hurtful to hear that someone, didn't like you because you have nice eyes and good hair or whatever. But now we have all grown up. And you have a platform because you got to represent black people on TV. You have black women following you. And now you are using your platform to belittle them and to equate their exclusion of you from white people's racism towards you. You must be kidding me. And where have all of you been? I didn't know there were so many of y'all. Where have all of you been when these racists are out here saying and doing hateful things? Where have all of you been when Rachel Lindsay's comment section is a cesspool and she's getting all of this hate from right and left from even other people in Bachelor Nation? Where have you people been when Colton was acting up? Where were you guys? When other people had done this and that, why is Hannah Brown calling Rachel instead of some of you? No, where have you been and what have you done? So, now let's get to, and I noticed that of all the black biracial people on the list, Tasia Adams was not one of them. I'm sure she would love to get with you guys and talk about being excluded by black people and Latinx people and avoid talking about colorism. Where was she? Did you not think to invite her? Or did you did you not think to get biracial people that did not look like you? And if not, why is that? So I think that's really interesting. So I believe that Tasia is a Kira doll. She wants to operate like a white woman and get white woman things. And she's not interested in speaking to or for the black women that have supported her. Do you know who did invite her on her podcast to talk about her experience on Bachelor in Paradise? Rachel did. When Tasia was with JPJ and, people on Bachelor and other contestants in Bachelor in Paradise were being racist, who spoke up for her? Rachel. And when they broke up and Tasia wanted to explain herself, who gave her a platform to do so? Yes, that is Rachel. So I believe that Tasia did not prepare a statement and did not prepare to even initiate this conversation because I noticed that she said, I want a man who will talk about these things, not I will be interested in vetting these people and seeing what they believe or asking them a question about race or talking about this at all in the show, she thought that she could avoid this question of racism entirely. When Ivan said, hey, by the way, my brother's in prison, in parentheses because our criminal justice system is terrible, all Tasia said is, I did not fit in Laguna Beach because I'm black and Mexican. And then she started to cry and say, I did not fit in Laguna Beach because I'm black and Mexican, because that is all Tasia has to say about racism. That is all she could bring to the table. That is all she wanted to bring to the table. She thought she was going to meet the Ethan of her dreams, and their conversation of race would amount to her saying, I didn't fit in because I was black and Mexican, I didn't feel pretty, or I didn't feel whatever, and Ethan's attraction to her and Ethan's love for her and Ethan's connection with her is supposed to fix racism entirely, or be a step forward in progress entirely, and that's our happy ending. That is about it. That is the entire thing. Tasia was interested in coming here, finding the Ethan of her dreams, maybe, get more sponsorships, probably, and be on her merry way. As I said before, she has no interest in speaking to black women or speaking up for black women. Because if you look on her Instagram, how many black women friends does she have? It seems like the only, or I won't say the only because some people will say like, look at this picture, look at that. I think her close friends, most, if not all of them, are white. I have learned to be very suspicious of people that do not hang out with other black and brown people. If the only black and brown people that you hang out with are your family, you are probably not interested in community with me. So I have very little to offer you. And someone, as I said before, someone did mention that Tasia said that she would talk about it in her IG story. Where is it? This was about 3 days ago. Tasia is done with the show now. She is posting. She got to present at the AMAs. She definitely had an Instagram caption for that, and her little cornrows in the mirror being like a girl like me or whatever. Where's the Instagram story? Why didn't you run? Why didn't you have something prepared on your page before this episode came out? Why didn't you have something prepared to be released when the episode came out? Because now we're all looking to your Instagram and going to your Instagram. Why didn't you have something prepared? And why would it be an IG story that only lasts 24 hours? Would you have put this IG story on your page? Would you have saved it and put it in your profile grid? Or would it be hidden in those 23 billion things that you posted in under that BLM in your favorites 23 weeks ago? I thought about Rachel. What has Rachel been doing for the last 23 weeks? Well, she started a podcast called Higher Learning where she's been educating the white people for months now. And it's not a comparison. We all have our own lanes. We all have our own things that we can do for the community. Now, are you doing anything for the community? Are you interested in doing something for the community? Or were you going to get your honey and probably some gummies and be on your way? So, what's up with your Instagram? Where are all the things in your profile grid of things that you have said? Not your billion posts of what other people have said and what videos other people have shared. What do you have to say besides the fact that that it was hard making friends in Laguna Beach because no one looked like you? That is the story for everyone. But racism is a lot deeper than that. And it's a lot more violent than that. What are you doing to stop the violence? What are you doing with your platform to prevent the violence, to end it, to undo it? What are you doing to hold the white majority accountable and have them undo their privilege? What are you doing to undo yours and address your own? What's up with this? What's going on? And then we have Ivan, the guy who was only so happy to take Tasia's black homework for her. And even though it was not multiple choice like he anticipated, he went through that worksheet with flying colors, we think. So, I thought it was very interesting that he told his brother's business. Maybe my family works a little bit differently, but I would definitely not think that my parents or brothers would be happy about me talking about them being in jail. I think the way is to worry about yourself. I wish Ivan had just talked about being there for his niece and being an example for her and being, financially or emotionally supportive of her, I think that would have been enough. If you are not ready to talk about the criminal justice system and just have, maybe a sentence about it, or what are you doing to work on your brother's release or whatever, leave that alone. I did not like that at all. And Ivan, if you are so woke, why are you on the show? Ivan is one of the youngest of the cast. He's in his 20s, so he is old enough to know the type of women that are in the show. Rachel is the only exception at this point. But all these other leads are a certain kind of white or white passing woman. So let's talk about these woke ones. So the woke ones would probably be Caitlin Bristow. The girl that joked about being from Canada, so everything's fine, and she doesn't care about what's happening to black and brown people in this country for the past 4 years, and only started speaking after, her fans DM'd her, hey, a black woman was shot in her home. Hey, a black man was pinned down to the floor and killed. Hey, black people have been getting shot in the back and choked and done whatever for all these years. What's your quote? What do you have to say about this? And there she goes. There she goes now caring. But if you look at her podcast, where are the black and brown guests? Where are the black people on her podcast? For the podcast she's had for years, she had more to say about not getting to dance on Dancing with the Stars. She had more to do. She has been talking about Dancing with the Stars for years. Has she been talking about racism for years? Has she been talking about oppression for years? When it did not concern her, did she have a word? No. And Becca hated Trump supporters so much she decided to get engaged to one. So this is the kind of white woman that we are dealing with on this show. So, if you are so woke, if you are so progressive, why are you here? And who are you looking for? Or are you like one of these black men that think as long as a white woman is attracted to me, that is good enough for me? Is that what we're doing? And Tasia was just a pleasant surprise, because how many biracial women have ever been the lead on the show? How many biracial women that have something to say and have the ability to cry with you about the experience of being in this country have been on the show? None. It was a very low probability that Tasia would be able to be here, but trends and forces and black women made it happen. So what are you doing here? Nothing much. I'm glad we're in agreement. And I thought it was interesting that you mentioned George Floyd as just like the entire summer, when he was actually the last person that happened, and probably the last person that happened. I wonder if Ahmaud Arbery was still with us today, if George Floyd was still with us today, and Breonna was the only one. I wonder if you would mention anything. I wonder if you would care as much. I'm guessing no, but I'm giving you the courtesy of asking a question I already know the answer to. I think it's really interesting that all of these black men only mention George Floyd, because it seems that they only care about George, or would have only gone to the protest for George, when there are black women and black queer people that have been, getting brutalized for years, for decades, for centuries now. Where were any of you? So I thought that was the beef that Natasha would have with only mentioning George Floyd, but it seemed that we were going to yell at white people for not caring and never caring instead, or performing care and being like, oh my gosh, this is just not the country I'm used to. I didn't know. Did you know there are two Americas? Girl, leave me alone. At least, I agree with that sentence. Leave us alone. Permission to be spared. Permission to not take your call. Permission to scroll past your announcing that now you care. And it's just like in all these friendships, how many black people does it take being disappointed in you and being hurt by you and being a victim of your microaggressions and being a target of your racism for you to suddenly care? One is too many. So instead of yelling at racists and telling us that now, the country is saved because Biden won, look at yourself and worry about yourself. So my theory with The Bachelor is that they are going to try to find the least progressive or possibly most conservative black and brown people they can find and just sprinkle them through the franchise. That is my theory. If they've made a mistake with Rachel Lindsay, if they just got exactly what they needed from Tasia Adams, we are going to get absolutely nothing from these future leads, and maybe even some gaslighting, maybe even some oppression, maybe some politics that don't mind the oppression of certain groups of Black people or certain types of Black people from some of these leads. And I think that this theory has been realized with the selection of Matt James. It just so happens that Matt James is also biracial. It just so happens that Matt James is Tyler C's friend, but he fits in that perfect model of Black Republican that only has white friends and probably wants to date a white woman and marry one, and that's supposed to be ending racism instead of addressing colorism or anything like that The Bachelor has been looking for. And I think their greatest dream is to find a Black man that's going to say, you know what, girl? I don't see color. I see souls. And you and our souls are intertwined. Or just something dumb like that. That's their great dream. Once they have that clip, it's going to go viral. It's going to cause Black outrage. It's going to get the Black woman mad, but it's going to get them watching and talking, which is what they really care about. They don't want Black women to have, that, what Two Black Girls, One Rose has this segment of what Tasia deserves. They don't want Black women to have that kind of moment. They don't want Black women to be able to see their love story on TV. They don't want that. They want Black women angry and talking and giving them trends and numbers. That's what they want. They want Black women to give them things. They have nothing in return. They have no hope. They have no love. They have no respect for Black women to offer Black women in return. So that is my theory. I think, we need things probably, to happen in twos. First time shame on you. Second time shame on me. I think one is enough for me. I will not be watching Matt James's season. I will not be hearing about that season. And so I hope that Rachel is prepared for whatever foolery will be happening. I really feel for her. This whole situation has me feeling for her. I read her response. She was getting a little higher learning there with that response. She was getting a little hyped up. I was like, ooh, Rachel. Don't go in too much, girl. But, I really feel bad for her. I hate that she has stood alone, and I hate that she will possibly have to be standing alone. And I really hope that some of these contestants will wake up and really be able to be supportive of her, not just, these racists are the worst in the group chat or these racists are the worst in text, but really on your timeline, using your platform to support her, to defend her, and speak up for her so that she does not have to do this. Because the time that Black people are spending fighting their oppression and speaking up about their oppression and sharing their stories and reliving their trauma is a time that we could use doing literally anything else. Imagine how productive and imagine how creative Black people have been in the midst of oppression. Imagine how much more creative and how much more productive we could be if we didn't have to deal with this. Some of you guys know this, and that's why you continue doing what you do, because you do not want that level of creativity and you don't want that level of excellence to disprove all of your racist theories and all your lies that you have used to profit off of us and oppress us and just do whatever you want and copy us and whitewash what we do or whatever. But for those who not just claim to care but actually do care, do our Black homework. It is not multiple choice, but you will get through and maybe you will pass with flying colors. And most importantly, we will rest. So now on to happier things. I would like to talk about the girls of the hour, Weki Meki. So who are they? They're a girl group from the company Fantagio, and I found out about them because of IOI. So my understanding of third gen, my perspective of third gen is fully defined by my experience with IOI, the trauma that I endured, how triggered I was when I saw every other group get the special treatment, get the extended tenure that IOI deserves and laid the foundation for. I think I've discussed girl groups being the lab rats of K-pop, and K-pop just, and these misogynist company managers just seeing, I wonder if this works. Let me just see if a girl group does it. And then once a girl group does it, all the resources, all the improvements that should go to the girl group go to the boy group that they do it with next. And that's exactly what happened with IOI. So IOI was very successful, and instead of extending IOI's time with us, instead of giving IOI better comeback songs, instead of giving IOI subunit another comeback, they just decided to let IOI end, and then they brought 101. And 101 got the amazing debut, and 101 got to be with us for 2 years. And they got a, huge concert where they ended their time together, and they got time to say goodbye to the fans, and it was emotional, it was beautiful, and it was what IOI deserved. And we only got IOI to be as successful as it is, and the best performance of all the Produce 101 franchise. I don't care that I haven't seen Produce 48. I will not be watching that reality show. Now that Produce is no longer with us, we can go back and truly decide that IOI, that the performance of Bang Bang, choreographed by Chungha, saved by Somi's creativity, is the best performance. That is the Avenger performance that those boys kept telling you about in the male iteration of IOI. They kept saying that for Produce 101, they kept saying that this is the Avenger performance because they can all dance or they can all sing. And it would fall flat because they never acted as a group. They acted like a fifth harmony up there, all being very, very talented people that happened to be stuck on a stage together for 5 minutes. And it just never quite worked out. But I will give 101 their debut. It was good. So with that understanding, I made it my mission to find all the 101, the girls of IOI. I wanted to find their groups and do my best to support them. I don't care for Dia or Dia. Their music has not been speaking to my soul. And so, sorry, Chaeyeon, but I feel like you're already getting things anyway as a visual of the group. So, good luck to you. But the rest of the girls I have been keeping up with. And Somi, she decided to go with YG's Black Label, so we hope for the best there. I don't deal with YG, so I gotta move on. Chungha, mixed feelings since the cultural appropriation scandal left a bad taste in my mouth, but she's talented. Stay the Night was the best comeback of 2020 in spite of the scandal that was perfectly preventable, but we'll move on. So, the rest of the girls. So I followed my bias Yoojung and her bestie Doyeon to Weki Meki, and I haven't regretted it. So my theory with Weki Meki is that they brought Yoojung and Doyeon into the group for attention, to get eyes on the group, and now they're debuting the rest of the girls with each single. In my opinion, it's kind of like the other girls are locked characters in a video game, and with each comeback, the group gets to level up, and you get access to the next girl. You get screen time in lines for the next girl. So I look forward to kind of explaining myself as I talk about the comebacks that I thoroughly enjoyed and really gave a certain girl time to shine. But let's kind of roll back. So the concept of this group is teen crush. So teen crush is different from girl crush. Girl crush is very, in my feminine power, I am bold, I am grown, I am out there. Teen crush is a scaled back version of that. It's I want to be edgy, but mom told me not to. And so that's what they're giving in their singles. And like what teens do, sometimes it's all white noise. Sometimes it's loud, it's confusing, it's colorful, it's all over the place, and it's constantly telling you what they're not, instead of focusing on who they are and what they want to do. But isn't that being a teen? Isn't that being like, I don't want to belong to this so that I can belong over there, that I'm telling you I'm an individual? Isn't it full of contradictions? So, I just feel like that kind of makes sense for Teen Crush. So I disagreed with PD from Form of Therapy when he said that he didn't really get, or he felt like they didn't really stick with their Teen Crush concept. I think that they've done actually a really good job of giving me Teen Crush, and Teen Crush that I actually enjoy listening to, because I think a lot of Teen Crush falls into the noise category, and as an adult, that is not enjoyable for my ears. But I guess it can be confusing music-wise, because while their singles are giving you the bubbly, bright highs and lows of being a teen, their B-sides are a lot more laid back and groovy. And so maybe that I enjoy it a little bit more than like an ITZY, for example, that really keeps the Teen Crush anthemic, I'm this, I'm not this, I'm, declarative sentences only thing of Teen Crush. ITZY does a better job of being Teen Crush through the mini album, and Weki Meki's kind of like, Teen Crush, yeah, for their singles, and then like, girl, I gotta sit down for these B-sides. But that speaks to me. That speaks to the weariness of adulthood for me. So let's go to these singles. So I really liked the debut, I Don't Like Your Girlfriend. I thought it was very cute. I thought the pose of Doyeon in the center, of her, let's get crazy, and her pulling out Yoojung, their partnership, their friendship is so beautiful. I did not realize it was a shit worth believing in, but I am on it. I support their friendship. And I thought that was iconic. And I really thought that that their unlocking of Soyeon and Luna was appropriate. I thought that Soyeon did a great job keeping up with the IOI girls, because you have to remember that IOI was around they were on the show for a couple months, and then they would kind of tour for about a year and a half. So Doyeon and Yoojung had been performing for 2 years by the time that they joined Weki Meki. So there's obviously a gap in stage presence and performance between them and the rest of the members. But I thought Soyeon did a great job keeping up with the IOI girls. She was charismatic, she's cute, she has a lovely voice, a great main vocalist, and she did a great job delivering there. All of her parts really stuck with me, and I thought, again, great, but she's leader, so of course she's prepared. And I thought I really loved Luna. Luna is my bias wrecker. She is getting me. She is getting to me each comeback. I'm looking for her, I'm rooting for her, and in this comeback she seemed harmless enough. Because I don't have a bias wrecker. I'm a very opinionated person. Once I like a person, I kind of stick with it. And very few people challenge my allegiance to my bias or my biases once I found them. So Luna's bias wrecking is disturbing me, but I'm not mad at it. I'm disturbed, but I'm not unhappy about it. But in this comeback, this debut, I should say, she was the Happy Joy lookalike. So she had a similar hairstyle to Joy in Red Velvet's comeback, Russian Roulette. And so that got a lot of attention. She's very cute. In the comeback that I was a little nervous for their first comeback because it was all white noise. Of course, the choreography was great, but the song wasn't really speaking to me. And from a smaller company, these comebacks really need to hit so that they can stay afloat. So that wasn't great, but then they came back with Crush and everything seemed to work. The color seemed to work. The wardrobe seemed to work. And Rina seemed to be working this music video. She's my favorite of the group. Every comeback, I like Rina's presence more and more. You can see she's getting more confident. She's getting just more used to being on stage. I love seeing her grow as a performer. She has a lovely voice. She has that face that other humans do not have. She has that Sophia Bush or Shania Twain face that is not, you're just like, where did you come from? She's so beautiful. And every time you look at her, you cannot look away. You're just like, how did this happen? And I'm loving every minute of it. I love her. I think this song should have been a first win. It was so good. And I have a minute left. I'm trying to record these in segments so I can get my ideas together, and I can't believe I'm running out of time, but Picky Picky is their best song, so I'm so ready to talk about that next. Like it, don't like it, love it, don't want it, Weki Meki, I'm so picky. Still their best song. I mean, the spirit is overtaking me as I'm thinking of this song. I can stomp right now. It's incredible. It's incredible. I remember how much the joy of the Lord strengthened me, nourished me, refreshed me as I listened to this song and Lucy. What a debut, honey. What an unlocking of a character. I mean, this straight black hair and these bangs, not a miss, not a miss. And you can tell when idols get that hairstyle that's just right, they feel themselves. They cannot be stopped. Lucy could not, that Mac, she said, bam! She said, let me lay in front and make these moves happen. Let me show you my angles. Let me show you my angles real quick. Pow, pow, pow. She was here for it. I was here for it. We were in agreement. She's the girl. She's that girl. She's the one. It's still their best song. Still their best song. And of course, Luna has to be part of it. Of course, when there is greatness, Luna is in the mix. So I was looking up Weki Meki, and I did not realize that Luna was the main dancer. So I have a little bit of an admission to make. I'm actually an OT1 stan of Weki Meki. I know. I don't normally find. I listened to an episode of Not Your Average Venison where they were debating, or was it? No, I think it was Fighting Words, where they were debating whether OT1 stands and people that only like one group are K-pop stands, and I said a resounding no. If you like only one person of the group, you are not a true fan of the group, because it's kind of like a chicken and the egg situation. Sort of, but I really feel like you would not like this person for most idols. You would not like this person if they were not part of this group. It's this group's song. It's how this person looks in this group's comeback that made you like this person. So to really only, to see like, especially, for example, like SNSD or something, to see only one member of SNSD and have no interest in the rest of the girls who are singing this song and rapping and wearing outfits and being interesting, I think there's a little bit of lunacy there. I think something is missing there to just only pay attention to one person, and you're listening to a whole album, you're listening to a whole you're watching a reality show just for one person. Like, that does not add up to me. And if you are someone that only likes one person or one K-pop group, you are just a fan of that group. You are not a fan of the genre of K-pop, because naturally, like, your idols have sunbaes, or they have, groups that they're really inspired by, and you check that out. But for you to stay so long and only be a fan of this group, you are not a fan of the genre in general. This is just a nice only exception. And so you should not be here saying like, hooray, K-pop stands are stopping racism, glad to be part of the community, because you are not part of the community. You are not a multi-fan. You are not supporting the growth of this genre in general. You just kind of want to collect things for your group, which is nice, but it's not the same lane that the rest of us are in. We want this group to grow in general. We want people who are not in this group to get opportunities. We want more people to know about this genre, and we are supporting people within this genre who are solo artists or independent artists. Like, we have different types of interests within the genre of K-pop. So for you to just support one group does not mean like you necessarily trying to find community with the rest of us. But for Weki Meki, I have to admit that my bias is Yoojung. But I don't think I'm an OT1. If Yoojung left this group, it would depend on the music. Like, I'm not like that fixated on Yoojung to like necessarily listen to her mini album or see her drama. I don't know, but I definitely have watched plenty of dance compilations, and we have got to talk about the dance at Weekly Idol, where she did that New Face. Who is learning the choreography for New Face? First of all, like, it is a fun song. It's a little misogynistic. This man saying like, I want to see like new women. I want like some kind of gave me a little bit of 50 Cent. I want to see variety in the ladies that I'm seeing. I want to see women that are more interesting. Maybe I'm misinterpreting the song, but I don't appreciate that. I don't believe that women are made for male visual stimulation. So, and I think, I don't think I look like other women. I don't think other women look like me. There are plenty of, we'll move on. In general, I think, all of us women are looking different and have different personalities. Again, are just not here to be trophies for men. But I did think it was very interesting that Yoojung took the time to learn that song, and that really sealed her place in my heart. But I recognize the error of my ways, and I want to support all the girls, and I want to get to know all the girls, especially as they move on to this new stage of music. So I really want to get to know them better. And first, I have to admit my own mistake. I've been calling Luna this entire time. I don't know why I keep calling her that. I'm a former Orbit. I have not been loving their later releases. So I don't know why I keep thinking of Luna instead of Lua. Then that's her name. I still think she did a great job in the Picky Picky dance practice. And I had just never really noticed maybe how much I noticed her until this dance practice. And I really admire the ponytail work. I feel like hairography is kind of missing from third gen. I was really refreshed when Dreamcatcher seemed to bring hairography back into existence with Scream. While I would not listen to the song often, I feel like that music video was a great example of girl group supremacy, a girl group that just walked on set with an agenda and said, we are here to slay, and they killed it. So I definitely recommend that music video, and I wouldn't say love their first album. There were definitely some highlights from their first album. You can check that out on my playlist, Kpop to Second Gen and Neon. So I loved how Luna was just swinging this ponytail around. I get very irked when I see K-pop girls with a ponytail and they are not whipping that thing. Like, Willow Smith told you to whip your hair back and forth. And you have, especially as someone whose natural hair is not in the position to be put in a ponytail, let alone have a ponytail that can be swung around. I'm like, hello, your hair is able to be swung. Why aren't you swinging it? Why aren't you making these ponytail whips happen? I love Girls' Generation, and their song Holiday is just a masterclass in performance. All of the girls really killed the dance moves, but I really loved the ponytail work. Tan, Sunny, Hyun. Every time a ponytail was present, you saw the hairography, you saw the interaction, them letting you know, woo, this 8 count is mine to eat. Okay, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I am getting these dance moves. Ladies, where is the hairography? We are performing from head to toe. Get on stage and go for it. And I really feel like there are not enough girl group performances of girls really going for it. Like, they're keeping it cute. Even when the choreography is difficult, there's just not that extra passion that I'm looking for. There's not that we are getting this choreography, like this choreography is mine. Like, instead of feeling like I'm doing someone's choreography very well, like owning the choreography from head to toe. Maybe like a Miju from Lovelyz or a Momo from Twice, but I'm not seeing like a group effort to elevate this choreography, to really own this move and not just be like people on stage executing choreography, but really one moving unit, like the way there used to be. So Dreamcatcher's a refresher course in choreography for me for sure. And I really feel that Weki Meki does really great with choreography as well. I loved the moves for Picky Picky especially, but I definitely felt like the song was such a highlight in itself. While the video kind of fell flat, I think Weki Meki always does great in live performances. They are really a group that has difficult and interesting girl group choreography. They always really change it up. And it's interesting how they do so with 8 members as well. So I really appreciate that about them. And they do is simple and nice. You can tell Fantagio, that money's a little funny, but they know how to invest it in the girls well. And every music video seems full. It seems they find a way with lighting or with staging or with clothing to make it seem full and buoyant. Like, it is lower budget, but you're not missing anything from quality. So if I had to describe Weki Meki's discography, I would describe it as before Picky Picky, and then after Picky Picky. Picky Picky is that song, and I know it sounds ridiculous for someone outside of K-pop to listen to, but that's the name of the song. Well, I'm just going to call it Picky. Well, Picky's just that song it's just a gem. It just lifts your spirits. It just defines a group. So I feel like the rest of their songs in comparison don't have that same iconic stature that Picky does. So that's how I would describe their discography and their story as a group. But I do feel like we're coming into a new wave of Weki Meki. We'll see what they do with the next comeback. There are things that I want to happen. There are things that Fantagio probably wants to happen. And then there are things that the group members themselves probably want to happen. But I'll just talk about the things that I want. But before we get to that new wave, before we get to that next song that really stands the test of time and really has marked its place in Weki Meki's catalog, we've got to talk about Dazzle Dazzle. So in this comeback, we unlock Ellie. And Ellie is truly, you can really tell they have formed this music video to make sure that you know who Ellie is and that she gets a chance to shine. I think she might be a main vocal, that might be wrong, but she really is, I would say, the Jessica to Soyeon's Tan. While both girls have interesting and unique voices, Ellie has that certain tone, that certain way of saying words in songs that you just recognize, oh, it's her. And you kind of like it. You kind of like it more than Soyeon sometimes because she just adds that extra little flavor and that extra spice, the extra sauce to certain words. That's just different from the rest of K-pop. Soyeon has a very familiar tone. It's very high. It's that very cold pop sound. And Ellie's voice is kind of, I would say it's similar to Rosé in Blackpink. And how it sounds, it's just a certain kind of nasally tone that you don't hear very often amongst vocalists. You hear nasally tones with a rapper sometimes, but I haven't heard a lot of nasally singers. And I'm not sure if it's like Rosé and she's kind of putting something on, but I like it. And if she's using a nasally voice, I hope that Fantagio allows her to play around with her voice a bit and get to exercise and use her real voice, especially if it's not proper vocal technique. But we'll move on. She has blue hair. She has pink lipstick. She's in the center. She's getting a chorus. I mean, like, that's really never happened. That's usually like a Yoojung moment or a Doyeon moment or a Soyeon moment. So her in the center getting a chorus was a huge deal. I was like, hello, Ellie. It's been several comebacks. Glad to finally feel like I'm seeing you and feel like I'm kind of getting to know you as a performer. You could really tell she was feeling herself, but I have to hold myself accountable. When I first saw that blue hair and that pink lipstick, I was taken aback because Ellie does not look like these other girls. She's got some big old eyes and some big old lips. And it was kind of a little like, should we be doing the blue and the pink at the same time? Is this a little too much? And I kind of heard, ever since I heard, well, I've always had this kind of insecurity about my own lips being big, and so I just felt like I was speaking from maybe a place of my own insecurities, and I should just let her be great. Like, she was great in spite of me. She was great. Like, she doesn't know me. She doesn't know what I think. So, and people get surgeries to get bigger lips. People are, covering their mouths with lip liner to get those lips that Ellie has. So I should just let her be great. And you know what? She looked great. She sounded great. And it was nice to have a different sounding chorus, to have a different character be introduced to us that comeback. So while Dazzle Dazzle was not the most catchy song, I mean, I still think dazzle me, boy. And it has like interesting footwork as their point dance. I think Crush's point dance still kind of stands in my mind as their most interesting, one of their most interesting choreographies so far. I'll talk about other interesting choreography coming up, but even though the video fell flat, I really feel that Ellie's visuals stood out and she looked great. So I had to kind of lay my own insecurities aside and really celebrate her. So now we are on to the other song of the hour. We got to talk about Cool. So I was in this mood where I was not loving K-pop. And that happens as a black man. There are times where you just see like, is this music worth it? Do the bops really bop? Is the bops bopping enough for me to handle the mess that is this industry? Whether it's a company, whether it's an idol, whether it's a fan, something is always going on. And you're just like, why am I giving, even if I'm not giving my money to this, I'm giving my time to this. It is just really edifying. And I think I subscribed to Weki Meki's channel or something because Cool was on my homepage. I clicked it and my life has been changed ever since from the beginning. And it's Doyeon in a white outfit again. I'm feeling like every time Doyeon starts a song, I tend to like it. I'm realizing this just now because this has happened with the debut, it happened with Picky Picky, and now with Cool. And let's talk about Doyeon for a second. She really reminded us that she is a top third gen visual. This hair, it's kind of like a muted version of the red hair she had in Picky. It's still like a strawberry blonde. It is a lovely color on her. if this is her standard hair, like God bless her edges, I really hope she's putting on like a clay mask or something, because we don't want the tips to get fried. I want her scalp to breathe. But if this is like, you know how certain idols have certain hair colors that you associate with them? I think this look can be like this kind of golden-esque look really works for Doyeon. It's not that, crazy pink. It's not crazy, but it just looks just right on her. I don't know what it is, but she really looked great. She looked great in that white outfit with the slick back ponytail. She looked great with her back out in that salmon colored top. She just looked incredible. And I was just like, silly me, I forgot how tall and beautiful you are. Okay. And we gotta talk about Lua. So in Dazzle Dazzle, while Ellie shine, Lua's light dims a little bit. I really feel like her life source is some hair color. It's some hair dye. There's something in that hair dye that is like crack for Lua. And her, if Merk was a person, it would be Lua in that Dazzle Dazzle video. And I think in Oopsie 2, I remember thinking, what did you do to her? Because they removed that blonde. But I'm sure Lua's hair needed to live. And I bet that's probably why she cut it in Cool. Or maybe it's like a statement, but her cut hair in Cool and the styles they put it in with that green streak, it was just so cool. And you could tell that Lua was feeling herself. Another example of an idol with the right hair color at the right time, just here to serve the business. Lua was really a highlight. This is really a comeback where no character was unlocked. We just kind of got some reintroductions. I got introduced to Yoo-jung with long hair. Didn't love it. But what I did love about this music video is that while it is that Teen Crush, I'm original, it's different from Teen Crush because, no, I think it fits with Teen Crush with its lyrics of, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. And Luna released a music video around the same time, and I'm talking about Luna the group. And I really feel like Weki Meki did the whole female empowerment thing a lot better than Luna did. Luna has this thing about like, let's do an anthemic song and feature large groups of women standing in different places. And it's not really working for me. I don't like it. I'd rather just kind of focus on a certain group of women. If you're going to have representation, I need inclusion. I need a storyline. Pick one of these women from all around the world and let's just have a music video from her perspective. Can we do that? Or just pick a few, just pick 2 or 3 and let me see what they're doing. Instead of throwing all these girls together and it's just isn't this beautiful? But they all look great, but I don't really know what they're doing. I don't really know what they're up to. I want storylines. I want world building that I can believe in. But with Cool, it really feels like, I don't know who directed this. I don't know who shot this. It feels like this is a for women by women thing. Because sometimes with Girl Crush, it can feel like it's supposed to be empowering for women, but it's mostly it kind of feels like empowerment for women for the pleasure of men. Make sure that men can come into and really enjoy the song. And they can only enjoy the song if there's a close-up of someone's butt or there's short outfits or this or that. It doesn't necessarily feel like it is centering these women. It just so happens to feature these women doing empowering things, like maybe talking about how crazy they are or talking about how they don't need a man or whatever. But it's kind of at the pleasure of men or men's idea of what an independent woman is, instead of really kind of allowing the woman to lead and allowing the woman to define herself for herself. And it just felt like a very different spirit was surrounding the set of the Cool MV. It really felt like the women weren't, the girls in this group, they are mostly young women right now. I don't know how old Lucy is, but it didn't feel like these women were props. It didn't feel like these women were objects. It really felt like they are whole, complicated human beings that are showing you what their empowerment looks like, that they are original, that they are interesting, that they are vivacious. And it was just beautiful to see just a different type of Girl Crush without the close-up, without feeling like it feels like I'm giving an opportunity to really get to know these girls and respect them in a different way and just respect their artistry and see their joy and see their confidence. And that's the point. The point is their joy. The point is their confidence. The point is to allow them to speak. So I don't know who filmed that or who directed that, but it really felt respectful to the girls in a way. And sure, you can, and like I said, Doyen had her back out. Like, you can still wear whatever and still be empowering, but it really feels like the girls are really in control. And you can tell that the girls looked comfortable. They were confident. In the music video and in the stage performance, they just looked like they were having so much fun. And that really spoke out to me. So I really hope they move on from Teen Crush and get to this Girl Crush, because we don't really have a lot of groups that are doing Girl Crush anymore. I think EXID was the last one kind of doing a Girl Crush adjacent concept, and they're on hiatus. So it'd be nice for them to take up the mantle and give us something new. What I am in love with the song and music video. I do have a few gripes. Well, a few observations. So Soyeon, the main vocal, I think of her saying, every day, I just want to dance. And I think that scene is so funny because most main vocalists are not known for being the best dancer. And I do like, upon further review, she says that she wants to dance, not necessarily that she's good at it, but giving Soyeon this whole like dance break scene when she's not the best dancer of the group. And the girls beside her are clearly killing this dance in comparison to her, was just so funny. And it just reminded me of this through line of most groups that I've witnessed, where main vocalists want to be rappers and rappers want to be vocalists. And it's just like, don't vocalists have enough? You have most of the lines in this song, and now you not only want to be a rapper, but you want to be a dancer too. Now it's just funny to me. You really notice that none of these, the rappers and the vocalists kind of have this through line between this like discourse with each other, but you never hear anybody being like, I really want to dance more in the group. Maybe because that like rehearsing is so intensive and these choreographies are so difficult that people don't want to take that on if they're not naturally talented to do so. But I do think the fact that dancers are often not the job description that anybody wants is very funny. And maybe like dancers don't have that much screen time anyway, if they're not like one of the best vocalists or able to rap or something. So that might be part of it. But I thought that was funny. And I really love Soyeon in this comeback, particularly these live stages. I felt like this concept was very L Word meets like Rent-esque in styling. So I really enjoyed that. And I felt that Soyeon fit in with this concept the least, but enjoyed it the most. So just seeing her bopping around, being like this kind of cute cheerleader in this like Rent-esque environment was so charming to me. And while I feel like she, like I said before, like executed the concept, like she's still like a charismatic performer. Like obviously, like I was glued to her, but I do feel like other people kind of executed. Why am I saying that word so much? There's always a word that I seem to repeat. Well, other people performed at a higher level, I enjoyed Soyeon's performance the most. Mostly because I was so entertained. Like, what are you doing, leader? You're adorable. And I'm just like, no. Like, I already have Lua as a bias record. Do I really need a leader as a bias again? This keeps happening in these groups. So Soyeon, and she has white hair, and I remember how powerful Taeyeon was in white hair, during like, what era was that? I think it was during the Fantagio concert specifically, but she did have it during Run Double Run too. Somewhere in 2015, this was happening. So anyway, Soyeon's on my watch list. I've gotta watch out for her. But let's talk about this mini album. So I bought the song Cool. I bought the song Picky Picky, because this podcast is supposed to be about the music I'm buying. And so of Weki Meki songs, I bought Picky, I bought Cool, and I bought, from Cool's mini album, the song D-Day. It follows that Weki Meki trend of like a slower, groovier song. But as I said before, I enjoy it. And so this was surprisingly grown in lyrics. Maybe I've been missing Weki Meki's lyricism before, but I was like, oh, okay, a little spice from Weki Meki. Maybe they are maturing slowly but surely in content. So I enjoyed that song. I did not enjoy the English version of Cool. I felt like they were trying to do that thing where they, in Japanese songs, like replace Korean with Japanese because like the languages are similar. That is not how English works. English is very reliant on vowels, and I feel like it's kind of like a heavier language. Like, just from hearing Korean, I think like a Korean is choppier and kind of faster and lighter, speaking wise instead of English. So it just, the words just seemed like crammed in lines, and it didn't feel very like rhythmic and light. I felt like the English kind of dragged down the lyrics of the song. It didn't really go well with the beat. And I could not pay, and because of that lag, I couldn't really pay attention and enjoy the song. So I just feel like if you're going to do an English version, treat it as a completely different song and just give me lyrics that match the theme of the other one. Or I've heard of Eric Nam, like Korean kind of, he does like a Korean song that means one thing, and the English version is kind of like the opposite concept because it just didn't work. It translated another way. So I would advise Fantagio to try to do that. I don't think 100 Facts is going to really get the international fans the way they anticipated because it just frankly isn't good. But I appreciated the effort, and I look forward to what they do with that in the future. So I had talked about several members this episode, and I realized that I have not talked about Sei, S-E-I. I feel like this group, like, she does not have a real place in this group. Like, I would expect her to be used more. In debut, it seemed that she was kind of gonna be the cutesy member of the group, but Lua had already taken the happy little pill position and like mood maker position, so I didn't really get what Sei's purpose was. I think she did a great job this era. She really caught my eye on stage. I loved her bangs and ponytail and cute little pink outfit, but I'm not really getting what makes like what her sparkle is. I'm not really getting what her what the energy that she brings to the group that's kind of different from everybody else, or at least matching other people. Like Aluzi isn't giving me much anything that's kind of different from Doyeon, but they are a powerful couple together, especially in that beginning of Cool. I was just like, the visuals, it's too much. But I'm not really getting like, and I'm not gonna blame Sei. I think that I'm sure she's very talented. I enjoy the raps that she does with Lua. I think that Fantagio really needs to set her up for success and give her a comeback where she can shine. So I look forward to that next comeback. And as for Weki Meki, I hope they continue this girl crush, moving towards girl crush in content and in videos. Even if we start out with just the videos, I've enjoyed their visuals so far. Cool was such a well shot music video, from the outfits, from the lighting. But Fantagio has never disappointed me with one of their music videos so far. So I look forward to more of this and just more of, they really seem like a group that has not been sexualized by their company in these music videos. I have noticed that, and that's just very refreshing. You really feel like you're getting to know the girls and you're seeing the girls